Sorry we took a little bit longer. I need a motion to go back into open session. Second.
Motion.
All those in favor? All right. Now we'll have a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And Tiana Ford, a fifth grader at Edwards Elementary, will be leading the pledge after the moment of silence. Okay? Tiana, you want to come up?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. We've changed up our agenda a little bit, so now we'll have our coordinator of CTE, Ms. Ellerby, come up for our special recognitions.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ballinger, and guests. Tonight, I am honored to recognize 5 exceptional students who proudly represented Chesterfield County and the entire state of South Carolina at the National Skills USA competition in Georgia this past June. First, I'd like to invite Mr. Richard Corns, law enforcement instructor at Chesterfield High School, to come forward. Please welcome our crime scene investigation state champions, Allison Lloyd, Michaela Lisenby, and Carson McCullum. These young ladies earned an impressive 23rd place at Nationals. Please join me in congratulating them. Next, I invite Mr. Jeff Spencer. He's the mechatronics instructor at Chesterfield High School, to come forward. Please welcome our mechatronics state champion team, Miss Allie Brown, and Miss Savannah Gunter. These young ladies brought home the bronze medal for their 3rd place finish at Nationals. We are so proud of these students for their dedication and excellence, and we thank their instructors for being outstanding mentors and role models in their trade. Congratulations. Thank you.
Breaking that is.
Okay, we're good. All right. Good. All right. There's no public comment, so we'll have the approval and signatures of the minutes, but we need to make an adjustment on our agenda for a second executive session at the bottom after the discussion items before we move further any more. Do I have a recommendation?
I move that we amend the agenda to include a second executive session. Second.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Like sign? All right, so that will be at the end of our meeting. Okay, now approval and signature of the minutes. Okay, you've been given the board minutes for June 9th, June 10th, June 12th, 16th, and July 2nd prior to the meeting. If there are no objections, those will be approved by consent. Thank you. Now, Mr. Caskey, our Chief Financial Officer, will give us a report.
Madam Chair, Dr. Ballinger, members of the board, good evening.
Good evening.
Prior to this evening, you all received the financial report for the month of June. Any questions related to that report?
Any questions?
Madam Chairman, I do have a question not pertaining directly to what he's presenting, but it is budget related.
Okay.
And that is, a few weeks ago, I brought a question to the superintendent as U.S. chairman about 3 full-time positions that were left out of the budget that we voted on last month.
Sir?
And Dr. Ballinger did a great job in researching it and brought answers back to us. And in his summary, which I do concur with him, that we should have been made aware. My question to you is, why would you present a budget to us to vote on without bringing those 3 positions and making the board aware of they were left out of the budget?
So those 3 positions that we looked at, 3 different situations, really. Most of those situations were positions that were added during the middle of the year and then either not hired for or either not discussed and not even posted. So even though the decision was made internally, typically those are not things that we do inside a budget year. That would be discussions that would be had during the next budget cycle. So if a position gets added during the middle of the year, those things really don't get picked up on the budget until the following budget year. And since those positions weren't filled, they didn't get picked up again. So it's like the expenditure never got actually on the books.
We voted on those positions in 23. We had some of those positions posted. My point is, why didn't you make the board aware that you were leaving them out?
So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, only one of those positions was one of the ones that got voted on in 23. And the budget for that position is still in there. It is still there. It's just a matter of whether or not that money was used the way it was supposed to be used to spend on that position. So while the money did get added, the expenditure line got added for that position in 23, it was never used for that position because that position was never hired.
But again, my point, don't you think you should have made this board aware?
The board was aware that those positions didn't get hired.
That's not my question. My question is, you left them out. You should have made us aware that they were not included in the budget.
I didn't leave them out. They were never in.
I think the previous superintendent, Dr. Anderson, left them out, as in the explanation you received.
No, that's not in the explanation that I received. I said Dr. Ballinger did a great job in researching it. He showed what these positions were posted, people were interviewed, they were put on hold. Dr. Ballinger gave a great explanation from where he come from. Normally when a position is put on hold, that it means that it should be left out, but the board being made aware. In his summary, his paragraph is clear that the board should have been made aware of. You didn't do that.
So if I could interject, that would be something that moving forward with the way that I do budget, and I don't know what the processes are before, what has happened before, but I do know moving forward that, you know, with how we're going to do our budget and our process, there's going to be a lot more transparency with some things that are either on the budget or not in the budget. And you know, ultimately, you know, even as I stated, as a superintendent, it's my responsibility to make sure that the board is fully aware of what positions are not in the budget and what positions are in the budget. And so moving forward, you know, I want to make sure that the board is fully aware as we're going through our process. If there's a position that the board has voted on that it to be added into the budget, but then it never gets filled, or if it gets put on hold, that budget or that position is not included in the budget if it's on hold. And so moving forward, you know, I hope that the board will be able to see how we can work through this to better inform the board when it comes to all of what's happening within the school budget and with positions.
And pretty much in the past, that's been our best practice. Anytime a position is being left out, case in point when Mr. Sweeney asked about bus monitors, he asked Mr. Cassidy, were those positions in the budget? So it's not something that we're not used to. My question is, he left them out. It was a good point. It should have been a good point of discussion that he was saying, by the way, these positions are being on hold. What's the wishes of the board? That was not done. Remember when you and I talked, when you found out about they wasn't in the budget, it was, well, wow, we didn't know anything about that. So it's not like that hadn't been the practice of the board.
Yeah. Well, and I do have to give, you know, and I appreciate you, Dr. Coleman, giving me, I guess, credit for the research, but I can tell you I didn't do I just had my staff do that for me. So I do want to give credit where credit's due, and that is I asked Dr. Hazard and Mr. Caskey to research that information for me and get that to me. So I do want to give them credit for that. As far as what has happened in the past or what has happened in this last budget cycle, you know, I can't talk to that, but I can talk to what we're going to do moving forward. And what I would ask for the board or from the board is, you know, if there's something that we're going through as far as with our through the finance process and prepping our budget, what are some things that you would like to see, or some of the things that you as a board would like us to present at times, so that you are more informed when it comes to how our budget process is laid out, what is our budget process like. You know, that was one thing that I've already talked to Mr. Caskey about. You know, we are going to expand on our budget presentation so that there is more information being put out there. I can also tell you that some of the things that Mr. Caskey and his team is already working on is a tracking system to making sure that when this board does say we want to you know, create a position, that we have a way of tracking that. And so I know that there was a system in place at one point, and then I think the system went away, and now the system is starting to get put back in place. They were just going to pick back up what system they had. And so that will help us through the process. And I hear what you're saying as far as, you know, and I guess you're talking about in that presentation, why was that not mentioned?
We have 3 budget readings. You're absolutely right. And my thing is that I don't take it lightly, and I don't think any board member. We voted on an $80 million budget. Mm-hmm. We should be very transparent. And when we're voting on something with the assumption that something is in there and then it's not, I mean, that's a concern.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing that, you know, we're going to work through and make sure that moving forward with everything that we present as far as when it comes to our budget, And then that way we can definitely have those conversations as to, is this in there, is it not in there? But there will be a clear outline of what is included in the budget and what is not included in the budget. And basically then that would be a way for you as the board, or as we have on here later on to discuss about committees, which we'll get to that in a minute, talk about which things do we want to actually look at moving into the budget or taking out of the budget. But to get more involvement as far as with the board in that process as well.
And again, and I'm gonna be done, my concern is transparency.
Yes, sir.
And the board being made aware.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions of Mr. Caskey? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now, Ms. Cutchin, our Coordinator of Human Resources, would come through the personnel report. I'll do that. It's not on here. It's okay. We're out of order, but that's okay.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
okay? All right.
Way out
All
of
right. Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ballinger, good evening. I recommend for your approval personnel exhibits A through F.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Thank you, ma'am. Any
Thank
other
you.
report? No?
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Stubbs, since I forgot you, come on up. Our Chief Academic Officer will give our curriculum report.
All right. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Anderson, and members of the board. I'd like to present the curriculum report. Of course, Ms. Ellerby recognized several of our students that were involved with leadership activities over the summer. But in addition to that, 2 students from Sherrall High School, Darice Gordon and Julian Owens, participated in the 2025 Industrial Trades Residence Program at McLeod Health. 24 students were selected to train across McLeod's 5 locations, and this was through a partnership with Harbor Freight, Power Ed, Big Picture Learning, and McLeod of Florence. And students had the opportunity to train with a mentor over the summer. In July, Chesterfield County's agricultural educators were honored at the South Carolina Association of Agricultural Education Awards Banquet, and they were named the Region 3 Outstanding Post-Secondary Program. And this prestigious recognition is a testament to their hard work and dedication. And those educators involved were Rose Jordan, Jesse McGee, Jessica McManus, Steve Sanderson, Ben Teal, and Rand Thomas. Of course, summer reading camp ended at the end of June. And you can see the report there about the summer reading camp. We offered that for our 3rd grade students that were needed more focused, individualized instruction in small group. The State Department visited all of our 4K programs along with 2 of our schools with summer reading camp. And the State Department noted all educators involved with the summer reading camp worked diligently to provide an experience designed to build essential reading skills, boost student reading confidence, and cultivate a lifelong love for reading and learning. Along with that, our 4K classrooms received outstanding remarks, highest ratings from the State Department, so we are very excited. One of the things that I did want to note is that through the summer reading camp, even though it is a summer school, teachers really strive to make it a joyful experience for kids. Parents are surveyed at the end of the camp, and we put some of the remarks from parents, and you'll see that they were very positive. One parent said, "I don't have any suggestions, but the teacher was great and the parent-teacher communication was great." Summer reading camp was very beneficial for my daughter. She came home every day excited and ready to tell me all she had learned. We are thankful for summer reading camp. And so as you can see, it was a very joyful experience for students, and they learned and had a good time at the same time. Federal programs had their annual planning meeting to review plans for Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, and Title V. Results from the teacher and parent survey was presented, and the parent involvement policy was updated, and then there was a discussion on ways to improve parent engagement within the schools. 108 students participated in the Summer Alpha program. That was 2 weeks this summer, and students participated in activities such as choir, band, visual art, figure drawing, mixed media, fantasy drawing, jazz band, and more. The new educator orientation was held in July with a total of 73 new educators, and they were welcomed by Dr. Ballinger. And Miss Laura Lovelace, the Teacher of the Year, also shared words of encouragement and support. Finally, Long Middle School and New Heights Middle School were awarded a grant in conjunction with the Palmetto Math Project designation. And so both of those schools had a summer program entitled Explore, Experiment, Excel, with a focus on math and math applications. And I've included some of the pictures from the program. It was really a cool program. And the kids were excited and the teachers were excited. And so just lots of integration of math with literacy and math and science and engineering. And you can see some of the activities that the students participated in. Are there any questions?
Not yet. Good job.
Everybody good?
Yeah, good.
All right, and then the other thing is the approval of the strategic arts grant, strategic arts plan.
Okay.
That'll be in the action items.
Yeah, we've changed this whole agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, I'm confused, so go
Okay.
ahead. As you can tell,
Okay.
it's okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Now we're gonna turn it over to the superintendent. Dr. Ballinger will give us his report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would first like to welcome everybody in attendance tonight, those that are joining us online, and just your involvement into Chesterfield County Schools is important, so we do value everybody. I would like to start off with my report that overall we had a great start to our school year. There have been a few hiccups here and there, but staff quickly responded, and so I do appreciate the response that we received when things did go awry a little bit there. I have been checking up on all schools and have been impressed with what I have been able to see so far. I can tell you what, we do have quality administrators, we have quality teachers, the things that are happening within our schools, it's amazing. I did also want to provide the board with an update as far as to my entry plan. As far as goal number one, I did meet with each school board member and had a discussion. I will be scheduling a board retreat soon. I have contacted the school district's attorney to help with planning and presenting. Goals number 2 and 3. I had listen and learn events at each school and held 4 community listen and learn events. I also met with principals, directors, other department heads, and support staff. I met with local media outlet to set up a monthly talk to share with the community what's happening in our schools and to discuss our events. I've also met with staff members that wish to have an individual meeting with me. So when I was having my listen and learn events, I would always offer to staff, if they didn't feel comfortable in having a conversation in that setting, that they could schedule something with me, or I would be more than happy to stay after. And so I did have some take me up on that. And so we had some great conversations. Also, I was able to, I did attend the open house and visited schools since we've been back in session. I was able to speak to the 9th grade class at Central High School and the 8th grade class at New Heights Middle. I also enjoyed lunch at McBee Elementary with some first graders and second graders. As far as goal number 4, currently in the process of evaluating student outcome data, programming and instructional practices. Goal number 5, still in progress with evaluating operations. Items I have not completed that was on my 30-day, within my first 30 days. There were 3 items that I did not complete. within that time frame, and that is the teacher forum, although that is scheduled for August 21st. The local community and government leaders, I have not had an opportunity to speak with local government officials. And then the area home and business tour that I would love to do. It was just a little different coming here. Most of the time schools don't start till August, so having school start when they did, that kind of crunched my time and what I could try to get done within that 30 days because you really shift to then with teachers coming in and school starting, so it kind of crunched that time a little bit. So those are 3 items that I did not get completed within my first 30 days. I am contracting with the South Carolina School Boards Association to review and revise our policies. They will assist reviewing and updating all policies, provide 2 on-site visits to discuss all revisions, and they will provide a charted change, or basically a document with the charted changes for the board to review as they go through that process with us. Also, I did want to remind everybody that a caller was sent out last week informing our community that we are offering a senior citizens discount pass, and we are going to give our students a discount to attend our activities within the county. So the discount will allow entry for $2. So that is for senior citizens 65 and older, and then our students, if they present their ID, they can get into the game for $2. In an AD meeting, they were discussing that we have seen a reduction in as far as attendance at a lot of our games, and so this is just a way to get attendance in and to allow our community to participate and support our schools and our students. I did want to also say that I've really enjoyed getting to speak with many of our staff. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I look forward to many great things for Chesterfield County Schools. One last thing, I did get a call that some of our roads are washing out. So we may have some issues tomorrow. And I did just want to go ahead and put that out there right now, that we will be evaluating what our roads look like probably tonight into tomorrow morning to see what's going to happen as far as with school, because we do want to make sure that safety is priority. And if we have roads that are washing out, then that's going to be hard to get a bus down that road and get those students back to school. So just wanted to inform everybody about that as well. So that's my report.
Thank you so much. All right. Mr. Caskey, you get to come back, talk to us about the bond referendum.
My part of this will be pretty short and sweet. I've got Ms. Franny Heiser, our bond attorney with Burr Foreman, who's going to come up and give a presentation on exactly what we're voting on tonight.
Thank you for coming.
Thank y'all for having me here this evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ballinger. It's nice to meet you in person. So I'm here tonight to explain to y'all, talk to y'all about the resolution ordering a bond referendum in the school district for this coming November, what would be the typical election day. This bond referendum is structured to mirror or to be a companion to the successful sales tax referendum that you had 2 years ago. So now that the voters have approved a source of revenue in the sales tax, you are coming back to the voters to ask them to approve the debt that will allow the acceleration of those projects that will be paid for from the sales tax. For the most part, the list of projects in the bond referendum are identical to the list of projects for the sales tax. Just a couple of differences. We added a little more information. If y'all wanted to turn to the ballot that I think is on page 3 of the resolution, we gave you a little more flexibility with regard to upgrades to athletic facilities, where now we talk about renovation, improvement, or replacement of existing gyms. We also gave a little more flexibility in the other athletic facilities. That would be the last bullet under that category: improvement, expansion, renovation of weight rooms, locker rooms, other athletic facilities at all school district high schools. Speaking with Dr. Ballinger, it just seemed to make sense that if you're talking about improving weight rooms, then a locker room or a rest room, it all is sort of connected. We still have the the catch-all phrase of renovations, repairs, and improvements as needed at all schools and other facilities in the school district. So this really gives y'all a lot of flexibility. The amount that we're recommending is that you ask the voters to approve not to exceed $100 million. We have worked with Bob Dameron, your financial advisor from Compass Municipal Advisors. Bob couldn't be here this evening, but we've had a call with him, with Dr. Ballinger and Mr. Caskey, and I have information from Bob showing that he is very, very comfortable that y'all would be able to borrow $100 million of referendum debt plus your annual debt and use your existing millage and the sales tax to make those payments so that you would not need a millage increase. So one of the key features of this referendum effort is you will not need a millage increase. This will be a great opportunity for the school district to update its facilities using the sales tax and only the existing millage. I'd be glad to answer any questions y'all might have.
Questions?
The difference being the $100 million we're asking up front so that we can go ahead and do what we got to do instead of waiting on the money to come in year after year.
That's correct, and that obviously does a number of things. One is it allows your projects to be utilized, to be up and running much earlier. Also, with the sort of standard inflation and increase in costs, it's almost always better to go ahead and get your projects done as quickly as possible, and that's what this referendum would allow you to do.
I probably won't be here for another referendum like this, but I just want to ask a question. It looked like to me it would have been better if we did both of them at the same time. When we asked for the penny sale tax, we should have done this at the same time.
Yes,
We got to go back now and ask again.
That would have been one way to approach it. I think that there were, as I understand, concerns that you didn't want to confuse folks and whatnot, but here we are 2 years later, and the message is the same, that the voters had confidence in y'all and approved the sales tax, and now you're asking them once again.
1 year, not two. We just did this in November.
Oh, that's true. You're right. That's right. 1 year. 1 year. Yes, sir. And we'll be back this November in an odd numbered year.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, where are you talking about the millage increase? What are you talking about there to not come from?
We are actually talking about no millage increase. So right now, and if you'll excuse me just 1 second, let me look at my chart here. This is actually Mr. Dameron's chart. Y'all have a target millage of 34.75 mils. That has been your debt service millage target for many, many years. And so that 34.75 mils creates a debt service fund that comes from millage, comes from your property taxpayers. So that revenue, together with your sales tax, will be enough to pay all of your existing debt, to pay this referendum debt, $100 million that we're talking about. And then the third aspect is your annual capital improvement bonds that you would continue to issue every year, probably through SCAGA. So you've got a great package where you can have confidence in telling your voters and your taxpayers that this plan will not require millage over 34.75.
We told them that when we did the
Thank you.
penny sale tax.
And this has got turned into election commission in the next couple days, right?
Yes, ma'am. The state law requires that a signed, sealed, certified copy of this resolution be delivered to the local, what I call election commission or voter and election office, no later than noon on August the 15th. And we're leaving with Mr. Caskey a set of documents, and they're color coded where everybody should sign and put the seal. And then I think that they'll be hand delivered over to your election office as early as tomorrow, so you won't have any problem making that deadline.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank y'all again for letting me be with you.
yes, ma'am.
Thank
And
you.
I believe we need to vote on this. that we proceed with sending this, to the election commission to be put on the ballot.
Madam Chairman, I move that we go ahead and put the bond referendum question for the November election for the amount of money that you just discussed with it.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Like sign? All right. So, Mr. Caskey, you'll take care of that. All right, we did that. Dr. Hale, you talk to us about the school calendar?
Yes, and not just any school calendar, but the 26-27 school calendar. Okay.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ballinger, this evening I am presenting the proposed 2026-27 school calendar for your consideration, and it's only early August. Okay. So the calendar was developed through a collaborative process. Each school and district offices reviewed and voted in the proposed options. So I have the totals. Option 1 received 640 votes. Option 2 received 58 votes, for a total of almost 700 votes, 698. The recommended calendar reflects the clear preference for option 1, which meets all of our state instructional requirements, includes the designated professional development that we need, teacher work days, and provides a balanced distribution of instructional time throughout the year. So at this time, I recommend the board approve the 26-27 school calendar as presented.
I make a motion, we accept the 26-27 school year calendar as voted on.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Like sign? All right, so passes.
We might even get started on the 27-28, you know?
Why are we so early with this thing? Why are we so early with it this year?
All right, Ms. Stubbs, you coming back? And you're gonna present, the strategic arts plan.
Yes, good evening. I'd like to request approval for the strategic arts plan for the upcoming school year and beyond.
All right, y'all should have that in your folder. I need a motion to pass the strategic arts plan, mission, and vision statements.
I so move.
Okay, I have a motion to pass in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Like sign? So it passes. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Stubbs. Ms. Ellerby, you have approved, local board approved classes.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Ballinger, and guests again. At this time, I am requesting local board approval for the Fundamentals of Computing course to be offered at the 8th grade level. This course has already been approved by the South Carolina Department of Education and is a state required course for high school graduation. Offering it in the 8th grade will give students an earlier foundation in computer science skills, allowing them to progress into more advanced coursework and better preparing them for both college and high demand career pathways. I respectfully request your approval to move forward with this implementation.
I move that we accept the revised administrative rule JICA-R. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Huh? All right, Dr. King, you've got revised administrative rule JICA-R.
Yes, ma'am.
This is our first reading.
So good evening, Dr. Ballinger, Madam Chair, and the members of the board. This time I would like to present the following new policy rule for a recommended first reading. This policy rule is for the protection of staff and students and for consistency with our student handbook. This is policy rule JICA-R, which is based upon student dress. So the Chesterfield County School District requires students to dress in a way that is neat, clean, modest, and appropriate for a K-12 learning environment. Clothing must not be distracting, unsafe, or inappropriate, and items with vulgar language, violence, discriminatory content, or promotion of drugs, alcohol, tobacco, or weapons are prohibited. Overly revealing or sexually suggestive clothing, including tops exposing cleavage or midriffs, short skirts or shorts, sheer garments without coverage, sagging pants, and pants with holes above mid-thigh is not allowed, nor are form-fitting items like leggings unless paired with longer tops, pajamas, hats, bandanas, hoods inside buildings, and for secondary schools, flip-flops or slides are also prohibited, along with the attire suggesting gang affiliation. Students who violate the dress code will be asked to correct the issue, and accommodations for religious and medical needs may be arranged through the principal. Special note, this updated student dress code is already in our student handbook.
Okay, I need a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dr. King.
Yes, ma'am. Now I would like to present the following policy revision for discussion. So this is the revision to policy BDE for board committees. So standing committees, so the adjustment of the change will be the board will have 2 standing committees, which will be the finance committee and the facilities committee. The board should review the financial and facility status of the district on an as-needed basis. These committees will assist with the process. So the committee membership and operations, that any board member may serve on these committees. The chair will annually appoint the committee chairs and will serve ex officio for coordination of committee activities with the full board. The superintendent will appoint a staff liaison for these committees. All committee meetings will be scheduled in advance with notice to all board members who are invited to attend. Notification requirements of the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act must be met for all committee meetings. The finance and the facilities committees will meet on an as-needed basis and will additionally meet at the call of the committee chairs. The finance and facilities committees will work with the administration on strategic plans and issues, gather information, and make presentations to the full board. Standing committees will take no independent action.
Madam Chairman, I move that policy be accepted as read.
Well, this is just for
Just
discussion
discussion.
tonight.
Yes, sir, just
Discussion on
discussion.
this.
Yeah, strictly. With bond money coming in and so forth, we need to discuss having the committees for us to have some input. So you see this going forth?
Well, I got a question because this is part of Dr. Ballinger's presentation. He likes to see board be involved. How does this work with the district that you moved from?
So, I mean, it just fine. I mean, and really, there's a lot of other school districts that utilize committees. And just keep in mind, the committees don't take action. The action that comes out of the committee has to go to the full board for approval. So there's no real decisions when it comes to certain things that a committee is looking at, but it allows the board members to be deeper into what's happening and what is being done. So for instance, as we talk, as Madam Chair just mentioned, we're putting up to our voters for $100 million for capital improvements. Ultimately, the school board is, people look at you and say, as a member, you're responsible for our tax dollars. And so this just allows you as a board member to get in, and as we're going through and we come up to certain things to say, okay, hey, do we add a wing here, or do we add a wing here, or do we add additions here? That way, you guys are in there making recommendations as a committee with us as administration and with the architects. And then we bring it to the full board for a final decision once we get to certain things on down the line. But that way, because it's easier to do that now than for us to bring drawings to the board, and then the board say, yeah, let's change this and this and this, which then it pushes us another, a little bit on down the road, and further behind. That way, it just gets things sped up a little quicker. Talking about finance, as we were discussing earlier, getting board members on a finance committee, that way we are diving deep into our school budget. So you as board members are able to see what consists of our school budget, the things that we are looking at, some of our roadblocks that we hit. Again, it has been very successful to where board members are able to at least have some input a little more than what they get in this board meeting.
And it's not meeting every month.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the next question, but you did. Okay, I'm good.
Now, I would say on some of them, you may need to meet.
Once or twice.
Well, I would say, for instance, and I'll just give this as example. The facilities, we would want to start meeting as soon as possible, once a month. Because we have the design phase, we have a lot of things coming down the pipe that we're going to have to do to get ready, that if the voters pass that, we want to be able to go. As far as the finance committee wouldn't start meeting probably till January. And then we would probably meet from January through May, and then that's the only time that we would meet. It would just be during that budget season, as far as with the finance. So it's not every month, and if we can get by without having one, then we don't have to have them. Again, it comes up to what the committee feels.
And I agree, education's key on it, getting everybody involved. My question would be is, how many board members would be allowed on a committee?
The max you can have is 4, because if you have 5, you have a quorum. Okay. So you can have up to 4.
My only other question with that is you're almost getting close to a majority. So if you're on a committee, you may get swayed or pushed to a direction, and that would be my only concern about that. And I can see both sides of that, but education is the big part of it.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen that both ways, and Mr. Kuhn, thanks for your question there, but I have seen that both ways, to where actually when a recommendation from a committee, if that committee recommends it to the full board, it comes as a first and a second, because you have 4 members on there. But I have actually seen it to where people on the committee didn't agree and didn't want to bring it to the full board as a first and a second, or as a recommendation. So therefore, then the full board had to have the discussion, because they had just that. Some committee members didn't want to go in this direction, and so it was just, then there was a more open discussion with the board.
And this is something you can think about until next month.
Nice.
And we'll have it on the agenda. Okay,
Got one more.
go for it.
So, finally, the following new administrative rule for policy BDE being presented for discussion. This rule outlines the duties and responsibilities of each committee. So, the Finance Committee duties recommends special internal audit needs, reviews and reports on accounting and purchasing procedures. The Finance Committee Chair makes reports to the school board on an as-needed basis, recommends the annual budget schedule and parameters, represents the board during the various budget preparation stages, represents the board in public meetings where budget matters are discussed, recommends the design and content of the budget document, conducts budget analysis and cost studies, monitors the school food service program. And for the Facilities Committee duties, monitors and reviews the facilities equalization program. Through the Facilities Committee Chair, makes reports to the school board on an as-needed basis, represents the board during the various construction stages, and represents the board in public meetings where facilities matters are discussed.
Questions?
And Madam Chair, if you don't mind, so these policies, if you look, Kershaw County has these exact policies. So if there's questions that you may have as a board member how the committees work, I would recommend maybe reaching out to some board members down there and discussing, yeah.
Okay.
I would recommend that you reach out to some of those committees, members down there to see if there's, what their thoughts are as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Madam Chairman. Oh, go ahead.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Now, we need to take another,
Madam Chairman, I need to withdraw my motion on Karen Ellaby because I said the wrong thing. I said administrative rule. And I need to go back and say, I move that we approve the classes that she's recommending.
okay,
I want that cleared up before it goes out too far.
all right.
If I
thank
can get a
you.
second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank you.
now,
I move to enter executive session, discuss, the second executive session to discuss personnel matters pertaining to contractual and legal matters and a student matter.
all those in favor? All right, we won't be as long this time, and we'll be right back.
Hang that up.
Okay, we're good. Okay, my comments. In your packet, you should have a listing of the new advisory council, the new ones and the reappointments. I need a motion to accept those. Okay, all those in favor? Okay. August 23rd and 24th, it's the South Carolina School Boards Association School Law Conference in Charleston that some of us will be attending. October the 8th through the 10th is another risky business seminar. Please let Becky know if you want to go, so she can get us anybody signed up that wants to go. September 8th is our next board meeting at the Palmetto Learning Center at 5:30, executive session at 5. And board members, we need to have our picture taken, holding a welcome back to school sign. And can we go ahead and adjourn? All right, I need a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.